This is going to be a show about music. You know, music is kind of like magic. Music gets soaked up in your mind. Music can take you places. Music can change your mood, make you feel happy, make you feel sad, even make you feel a little bit romantic. Neat thing about television is we can make music appear anywhere we want it to. Like Lyman Keeling here, an easy fiddle counterpoint to telling you that this isn't going to be a show about any particular kind of music, especially not highbrow music. It's just some folks we've met and liked and think you'll like too. Their music runs the range from pretty good to, well, pretty homey. We only have one requirement, and we think that what my friend Lyman Keeling has always told me sums it up the best.
Well, Bill, I figured it's always like this. If folks didn't tap their feet with this type of music, they're ready for the cemetery anyway.
And to prove it, Lyman Keeling moves through the Smoky Mountain Buck Dance better than anybody I know. Fiddle music in Arizona just seems to be a natural extension of some man's emotions. Doesn't leave much doubt about what he's thinking.
Many years has come and gone since I wandered from my home in them Oklahoma hills where I was born.
Arizonans make music on anything. Mary Aspis plays rocks she found in the stream out behind her house. Wally Pickle makes it just as hard on himself as possible. Guys like Tito Mambo are just plain crazy. And Stud Petty and his mares are just plain country. Guys like Joe Betancourt have just plain been around forever. He's always there, always reliable, always a sound and a song that just makes everything all right.
Now it's a hard road to travel. To find your troubles away. In a faraway city. With a faraway.
So stay with us. We're going to do some foot stomping out along the Arizona road, traveling to the music.
News Center 10 presents On the Arizona Road with Bill Leverton, a series of specials designed to showcase our very unique state. Tonight, we go out along the Arizona Road, traveling to the music.
And the process of taking music out of someone's mind and putting it on a tape or record that everyone can listen to and enjoy is a fascinating one. So we asked Arizona songwriter and singer Paul T. Morse to get involved with us. We asked him to write, produce, and record a song, and that process we'll take a look at here in a bit. But right now, we'd like to premiere for you the Arizona Road Song.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I've been down dusty desert trails, past rusty silver rails, with tales that are longing to be told. And just around the bend waits another friend out along the Arizona road. Arizona road, I hear you call from places where only the wind still blows, and the ones that I love most of all wait along the Arizona road. kind and gentle people I've known. From country roads to city streets, the memories are sweet out along the Arizona road. There's a cowboy driving stock out across an old black top that wasn't there 100 years ago. Some roads go here, some go there, some might lead you anywhere. Out along the Arizona road, out along the Arizona road.
The Arizona Road Song. As time goes by, you'll be hearing bits and pieces of it in many of our shows. Now, putting all that together, well, it's a tough job, not one for the faint of heart. To see how that process works, we asked a friend of ours, Arizona songwriter Paul T. Morris, to write and produce the song you just heard.
The first thing is we're going to need a song, and it's going to have to run about 2.5 minutes.
Well, we knew what we wanted. A song that captured the special feeling of being on the Arizona road, going to new places, meeting nice folks. It didn't take Paul long to translate a hand-beat tempo on the table at the restaurant to actually having a song.
Past rusty silver rails, tales that are longing to be told.
The next step was the actual recording. Now here is where it can all go to the dogs if you don't get a good recording. Well, we went to Ed and Marie Ravenscroft at Chateau Recordings. Andy Siegel was our engineer.
Tales that are longing to be told. Up around the bend, they're waiting on a friend. Out along that Arizona road.
The music moves to a good road beat, then slows down to a moody pace to remember faraway places and departed friends. There are some special feelings here. We were a little concerned about trying to do a song. It could have turned out pretty hokey. But Paul T. heard us talking and has captured that special feeling about what I love to do, and that's travel out along the Arizona road. Oh, places like this are where music gets born. And no wonder, what stronger images of the Old West do we have than that of the cowboy?
He was swift as an antelope, and black as a crow, with a star in his forehead, whiter than snow.
I know this looks like a scene we arranged to make it look like the end of a long day during fall roundup, but this is what happened one evening on the Double O Ranch. A classic sight. Longtime cowboy Enid Morris pulled out a guitar after supper and recited a poem he's written. A poem he hopes will win him some recognition at the big gathering of cowboys up in Elko, Nevada.
Well, I was day laboring around on some outfits not so many years ago. And the spring works was almost over, and things was kind of slow.
Well, I started writing poetry when I was just a kid, about 13. And then I didn't really get impressed with it till here just 4 or 5 years ago, you know, and I got to know a lot of stories and heard a lot of stories of people. I just picked it up and went to writing. You know, I've turned out some few poems that I'm not too proud of, and a few of them that I think's rather, you know, as good as somebody like me can write. Then I seen a right brand new trailer come a-rattling up my road. And it pulled up in my camp yard, just as fancy as you please. And a woman got out with sandals on and her pants up to her knees. "Are you training horses here?" she said, and I said, "Yes, I am." I didn't know till later that I put myself in quite a little jam. Well, she opened up the trailer gate and finally got him out. I knew I drawed myself a dandy, of this I had no doubt. He had himself a bucket head. He was kind of big and dumb, and I could cover up one beady eye with the end of just one thumb. Well, I was a little embarrassed, kind of looked down at my toes, when she laid her hand upon his jaw and kissed him on the nose. "You be a good boy," she said, "and you mind your manners too." And I most nearly fainted when she said, "Here's a sugar lump for you." So I gathered him up and stepped among him, just like I had good sense. And he stacked me up like cordwood, right in that bronc pen fence. Well, I went back to him a time or two, like any hen would do. And I found he could sun my moccasins just anytime he wanted to. He was a hull in the mail to marry, boys, glad leaving the world with me, when he jumped the ridge and hung us up in the fork of a big old tree. Now, folks, this may seem wrong of me, or maybe just a little odd, but to be real straight and honest, I never got him shot. And I've rode a lot of horses, boys. I'll ride some more, you bet. But you'll know I'm damn good and hungry when I ride another woman's pet.
And it sure seems like a long way from these peaceful night scenes at the Double O Ranch, too. It's obvious right away this is not going to be your usual nightclub act.
For once in my life, I had someone who needed me.
Jim DuBois starts the evening solo. Remarkably, after doing an interpretation of Stevie Wonder never before duplicated, he's able to use the exact same costume to parody another famous musician, Ray Charles. This time, it's the audience participation that makes the tune successful. Now the audience is warmed up. The rest of the band heads for the stage, and it's a night of musical insanity that offers something for every rhythmic taste. This is Flagstaff, and these are Jimmy and the Wazoo Peach Pickers.
10 cents in his pocket, kissed his wife, and family went to ride on the MTA.
We enjoy all kinds of music, and so we play all kinds of music, and we try to feed off the crowd, the energy that the crowd gives us, and we feed that back to them, and try to have a good time on stage.
If you want to see the pity, it's hotter than July. The words full of problems, touch us if they try.
The band just sort of evolved. Jimmy starting as a solo act, then a couple of the guys joining him for a few sets, then an actual group formed. All that was easier than deciding exactly what to call themselves.
We figured out that Wazoo stood for Wild and Zany Obnoxious Oddballs.
Well, I'm riding, moving fast.
Their choice of music gives new meaning to the term a mixed bag, but it does include some of their own compositions like this one, Bust Down, written by Jim DeBlois.
Thinking that I ain't got the time for a bust down. Bust down, you taking my freedom away.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you know, when you see someone carrying around a wash tub and it's not wash day, the beat is gonna be down home.
See no more as I was riding away. I heard the pale moon say, so long, pal, it sure gets lonesome here.
Well, some of the very best efforts at gathering together touchable parts of our colorful past are done here in Prescott by the folks at Charlotte Hall Museum. On this day, the 9th annual Folk Music Festival. And this year, a gathering of a lot of cowboys, and that means a lot of cowboy songs and the telling of some pretty tall tales.
First off, I want to tell you folks, I'm glad to be here to talk to all of you good people. But you know, when I come to think of it, hell, I'm glad to be anywhere after all I've been through. And
longtime friend of mine, Everett Brizendine, is a cowboy who knows the lonely, hard life a cowboy must face, and he writes poetry about it, trying to find the humor and the special beauty that makes it a life worth living.
He may be short a thumb or a finger from taking his dallies and jerking the slack, but in this dry climate in Arizona, it seems like it's awful hard to grow them back. So tip your hats to these old boys. If they come riding by your way, they really never die, you know. They just all smell that way.
No blankets there to hold, nothing but the house.
This 9th annual Folk Music Festival offered some of the best in traditional music, styles that go back across American history and even further. But the day belonged to the cowboy. He comes by his songs and stories the hard way. He lives them. Either that or he makes them up, like Marvin Bennett, for instance, tells about a favorite dog of his. The poor old dog had no legs, so Marvin used to tie him to a board and pull him around everywhere. He called him Old Drag. Well, the dog soon outgrew his transportation.
Got to put him in a wheelbarrow and wheeling him around. One night I was going down through the little old bushes there and got to chasing the jackrabbit. He damn near run me to death. Yeah, but my Pete was a cowpuncher neat from Arizona's fair climb. He lived in the saddle.
Marvin Bennett is a founding father of sorts, one of the original members of this group, the Grand Canyon Cowboy Band.
These cowboys, you know, they used to, some of them tough some up with Buddy Up.
Talk about Honest to Pete, Born in the Saddle cowboys. That's what Marvin, John Bradley, and Slim Kite are all about. They have 233 years of living between them. But one of the most unique periods of their lives had to have been the time back in the 30s when they spent their days wrangling mules for the Grand Canyon tourist and their nights picking and fiddling and singing. We first met these guys at a rehearsal in Chino Valley.
I got married and took my wife up the ranch, and she said, "Honey, I've never rode a horse." And I said, "Well, it's all right. I've got one never been rode, so we start you out together."
Marvin was only 17 when he started at the Grand Canyon. He and the rest were hired by a man named Shirley.
I heard that the government and Santa Fe had opened up a new park here in Arizona, and they was looking for somebody to break stock, take these people down the trail.
Shirley, he called me into his office and said, "I'll give you a job, but if you get drunk, I'll fire you." He said, "I'll take a drink with you, and I'll buy you a drink, but if you get drunk, I'll fire you." Well, I never did get drunk. I just get to feeling about like a man ought to year round.
They worked at the park at different times and didn't get together again until 1985, over 50 years after the band was first formed.
What kind of conversation went on between you guys when you first started playing?
You ought to have been here.
After 53 years.
Yeah, boy, our boots weren't high enough, I'll tell you for sure. I saddle up my pony and I ride off down the trail to watch the desert sun go down.
What attracted folks then and now again is the homey, authentic songs and yarns that these cowboys knew and could relate in a rough and sort of what-the-heck way. They were all just old cowboys. They all remember their time at the Grand Canyon as a fun one and an exciting one, but they can't quite agree on what part of it was the best.
I got a lot more nervous at the entertainment than I did on the music, I'll tell you for sure.
I got a few thrills going up my back going down that trail on a bucking mule several times, I'll tell you for sure. There's the path behind. Nowhere to go but up out for the trail we'll wind. Drifting along the tumbling tumbleweed.
So they all quit playing for a while, put away their instruments for 20 to 25 years, so they could concentrate on the real world of cowboying. But it's good, and especially for us good, that the boys are back. The Grand Canyon Cowboy Band, having a good time and sharing with anyone who wants to come along. So, just a taste of the music you can find out along the Arizona Road. I warned you when we started this show, some of it's pretty good, some of it's pretty homey. But if there's something these artists all have in common, it's the ability to look at life, somehow find the humor, and carry on. Not a bad way to live life. And sometimes the songs are just for fun. We're going to leave you now with Marvin Bennett and his story about the burglar boy. I'm Bill Leverton on the Arizona Road. Thanks for joining us.
It was an old maid's room, or he wouldn't have had the gong. From under her pillow a gun she drew, and to that burglar said, "Oh boy, if you don't marry me, I'll blow off the top of your head." The burglar boy looked around the room, saw no place to scoot. He looked at her teeth and her old glass eye, and he said,